friends! Today I thought I would finally show you my home studio setup that I now use to film many of my YouTube videos. And in case you didn't know, this channel was built on the travel vlogs that I spent so many years creating, and it was only in 2019 that I really took a step back and settled down a bit and started making tutorial videos for you guys to help you become better travel vloggers by sharing the tips and tricks and techniques that I learned along my adventures. So it's really only recently that I started doing these sorts of studio shots, but I've learned a lot about how to get like a really nice look. And even if you are creating travel videos, this sort of shot could be very helpful in case you want to just provide that kind of grounded place where you're telling a story and then maybe cutting in footage over top. Or maybe you're doing like a compilation video after the fact and you need to narrate some things, but you still want to have a presence in the video as you add your travel footage. Or maybe you just want to talk about anything else you want to talk about in a studio style setting, especially for YouTube videos. So today I'm going to show you everything that I do to set up this kind of shot. So everything from the camera, the lens, the audio, the lighting, the workflow, the tripod, just details about setting up the background. And yeah, hopefully you'll pick up some tips. All right, and I am ready to set up the office/studio. So the first step to get it set up before I film is tidy everything up extra clean. I think on YouTube these days, it's really important to mind the aesthetic that you're putting in your videos. Just a nice looking background and maybe just a few things that kind of represent you and what you're all about. So I've got like my headphones hanging there. I love the look of these. I'll link to them below. I love this mic. I've talked about it before. It's a great voiceover mic, but I also just like love the look of it, the white and gold. And then I've got a lantern. This is an oil burning lantern. My husband and I are really into these things. I'm also a big fan of plants. Like who isn't these days? But seriously, look at this guy. He is a vibrant, beautiful plant in this awesome crochet hanging basket. And I wish it was in the shot. It's right here at the desk, but it usually doesn't make it into the shot. So I would love to like move it, but you kind of have to balance what do you really want to rearrange to be in the shot versus what do you just want kind of permanent fixture in your real life. But I will move around some plants. So I'm just gonna add this guy like right here in like an awkward space where he would never actually sit if I were working at my desk, but for the sake of the video, it's gonna look good. So generally my workflow will be to set up everything, set up the entire studio, the lights, the shot, everything, and then go and do my hair and makeup. But for the purpose of this video, I went ahead and did all of that before even popping on here, because really the only place you're ever gonna see me without makeup is maybe Instagram stories. So next we have the lights. And it's funny because the lights are gonna play a much bigger role in making me look good than hair and makeup could even touch. And also let me say that the lighting might look good right now because I am facing these windows. The first piece of advice you'll often get about setting up a studio shot is to, just film in front of a bright, sunny window because the sunlight comes in through the window and it diffuses your skin and it looks awesome, and it does. But a lot of times in your house, I don't know, everyone's house is different, but the way that you want to angle is at the windows, and like if I were to shoot like this where all the windows are on me, you're just gonna see the brick, you're gonna see a bunch of my gear in the corner, you're gonna see like the other room. It's just not a good backdrop. You see, I wanna be sitting at my desk and the windows are behind me, so that's why I'm doing the lights, because they're gonna fill everything in and balance everything out. So let me show you. Got a big box under here, and these are my softbox lights. I just have 2 of them. Since I have windows behind me, I didn't think that I needed like a third, which would be like the hair light. It didn't come with a case, so what I did is I, took a picture of the box to make sure I'm able to rearrange everything in the box the exact same way. And before I even begin to set anything up, I want to get everything laid out so it's easy to put together, and it's also kind of neat while I'm filming because I can't be like focusing knowing there's a big mess over here. Okay, so let me tell you about my light kit. These are 2 softbox lights with 5 sockets in each one, so there's 5 bulbs that go into each light. There's different options you have here. Even with softbox lights, you can get LED input, you can get actual bulbs. There's pros and cons. These use more energy, these are heavier, these are definitely not portable. LEDs can be portable. I had some LED lights at first, but there was a lot of flickering. I just didn't like the look or feel of LEDs. So these lights are made by a company called Vovatech. This video is not sponsored or anything like that. They're a little bit more expensive than like the cheapest lights you'll find on Amazon. I think these were about $70 each. I'll put a link, it's an affiliate link in the video description below if you want to check it out. And I do highly recommend, and this is across the board with anything in life, not buying the cheapest thing that you can find. Because if you buy the cheapest thing you can find, you're gonna have a limited amount of time that you can use it. It's probably not gonna work very well, and then it's gonna end up in the trash. It's far better to invest a little bit of money and get something that's a little bit just more higher quality. And these aren't the highest quality, most expensive lights on the market, but they're a little bit more expensive and they work super, super well. I've used them in about 10 videos so far, and they are still working great. I absolutely love them. First, we've got the light stands. Fairly simple, seems a lot like a tripod. The very next step is to pop these guys on. I guess you call it the head of the light, or maybe the face of the light. I don't know. Then in these bags, there's one that comes with each light. You've got your 4, that was 3. You've got your 4 little rods. Sorry, I don't know correct light terminology. You've got this, and then very important, the diffuser cover. So you've got these little like tension rods, and they kind of work like tent poles in that there needs to be a little bit of tension, but on the other hand, you don't want to force anything. The first thing you're gonna do is take this backing, place it on from the front. I'm just gonna kind of let it dangle. Now, these guys have a skinny end and a fatter end. We'll put the top 2 in to start. We're just gonna hook these on, right? Oh boy, this is hard to do with one hand. Hey, but you know what? I can do it. Yay! Okay, so now that the top 2 are on, we're gonna do the bottom 2. And here's where you'll have a little bit of tension. You'll have the most tension probably when you first get the lights. Whoa. Pro tip, tighten the face. And then the most tension is when you're kind of pushing it out to fit on the final. And they give you this like kind of opening that Velcros shut, so we can Velcro that shut to make it all nice and neat and tight again. And if you're wondering if this is how it works just for this light, that's definitely not the case. Softbox lights have been built this way for as long as I can remember. I was a video production intern right after college, and I remember learning how to set up softbox lights way back then, and this is exactly how they work. And then the next step, the last step, is to, well, not the last step, we have to put the cord in still, but to screw in the bulbs. And this one, you guys hear that? It's like making a noise. I think it might be busted, at least on the inside, we'll find out. It's okay though, because you really don't need all 5 bulbs in each one lit up at the same time, and I think that's part of the beauty of having a 5 bulb system. They do make 3 bulb systems, but I, kind of thought the 5 was safer. And like I said, this light comes with 3 switches, so you can adjust how bright it is. And with all of them on, we're gonna see if that bulb was busted. Oh wow, it wasn't. Ah, they're all lit up just perfectly. So for now, I'm gonna set that aside and I'm gonna set up the other one. So if there's any little step that you missed, you can check it out in this little sped up setup. And actually, the actual last step is to put on these diffusing covers. They're super easy, they just pop right on. Okay, moving over to the G7X now, because I will be filming with my M50, which was what I was filming on prior to moving over to the G7X, and boom! We got these lights on me! This looks good, G7X plus softbox lights. I like it. So now comes setting up the camera and setting up the tripod. I really like this one. It's by a company called Canon Concept, and it's really, really tall. And it's important you have a tripod that is tall enough for your height if you ever do a standing shot. I've got affiliate links for all of this gear, by the way, in the description below, so you can learn about all the gear a little bit more if you want details, or you can see the prices. And then if you do purchase any of it, it helps to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Then of course, I've got the Canon M50, which I absolutely love. I talk about this camera a lot on this channel, and it's great for both vlogging and sit-down videos. But I will say that this is the kit lens, and this is the lens I use for vlogging because it's the widest lens I have for the camera now, and it is the smallest because it's the M mount lens, so it's like native to this camera. But I'm gonna switch over right now to the Canon 18 to 135 with the adapter. I just like the versatility of that lens a little bit more. And there he is. He's a big boy, especially for this camera body. And we are going to experiment with different focal lengths. It's funny because as much as I've filmed like the same shot in this exact studio setting, it always seems to look a little bit different, and a lot of that has to do with the focal length. So even just like a little bit more of a zoom or a little bit less of a zoom or a little bit different angle each time, it's gonna look a little bit different. And obviously every YouTuber's dream is to have like a permanent studio setup where the lights are placed perfectly and the camera's placed perfectly and it just stays there. But that's not the case, so I have to go through this whole setup process. So we start out with something right about like this. And I usually just do the whole setup process in the camera. So I'm looking at the viewfinder and adjusting things accordingly. And obviously the first thing we're gonna do is think about how much of the background we actually want in the shot. So I'm just gonna drag the tripod forward. I will say now that the last thing we do is remove items like this. There was one video I did where my water bottle snuck in to the shot and just sat there looking awful. And I don't even want to think about how many subscribers I lost on that video because of that. Just kidding. So I practice sitting just kind of the way I want to sit. Some YouTubers will crop themselves like here to here. Some will crop themselves, you know, not really at all and just have their whole torso in. And that seems pretty good. And I know that I have the tendency to like do this when I'm on camera, so there's always a little bit of wiggle room for that. And then from here, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. I don't want to move the camera though. I'm just dragging, I'm just kind of kicking the lights in and out. Let me switch back to the G7X. And yeah, here's the lights. One is here, one is here. This is what they call 3-point lighting. So 3-point lighting is where you've got a key light, a bright light, and then a fill light, which is supposed to be like a percentage less than the bright light. That's how you get like a slight, like a little bit of dramatic kind of lighting. And then you've got a hair light, which is kind of just like highlighting the back of you. And this is basic stuff you learn like photography class. I was a photography major in college. But anyway, I'm not worried about the hair light because I have windows behind me and I don't really think about the key and the fill that much. I kind of just like to blow my whole face out. Gets rid of the wrinkles and I kind of just like to test what looks good. Just look at the shot, move things, look at the shot, move things. One thing I did learn about setting up this lighting when I first got these lights is that you want your face to be aligned with the center of the light. So you don't want the light shining down on you, which is kind of like what you would think that you want, but you want it to be just very dead on. And if I press this halfway down, I can see it's slightly underexposed. I'll probably mess with that a little bit. Yeah. Check out the shot, it's looking pretty good. I'll tinker with it a little bit more, make sure the exposure is nailed, and then let me show you what it ends up looking like. Okay, here we are. And I'm kind of just like looking at my face and looking for these shadows and then moving the lights around and experimenting to see how they can be filled in better. A lot of highlighter on. Highlighter's a makeup thing. So side lighting is nice, it's cool, it's dramatic, it's artsy. But front lighting is flattering. And the more I move these to the front, the flatter my face will look. The contours of my face will look flatter, but then my wrinkles will also look flatter and less existent. So somewhere in between, like right now the lights are right here and I can touch them and I can touch the camera lens. So it's all very, very close. And I do think it's overexposed at this point, so let me change that. Yeah, and because the ISO is all the way down already, shutter is set to 1/50, and I'd have to stop down the aperture in order to lower the exposure, and I don't want to do that. Plus, if I do that, it's a little bit underexposed, which I don't like. Some people like that. I don't like underexposed. So I'm just gonna move the lights a little bit further away. Now, one final thing that is going to change everything, which is like my favorite thing, is color grading. So I talk about this a lot on this channel, and I was even inspired to create my own video filter packs. They're actually called LUTs, but I'm just gonna start calling them video filters because a lot of people don't know what the heck LUTs are. But they're basically, you know, they're presets that you can just apply in Final Cut or Adobe Premiere and everything will change. So here's the LUT that I like to use for this particular shot. I've used it for the last, I think 3 or 4 videos, and I think it looks really good. And if you guys want to learn about how you can buy my LUTs, check out AMaeTV/shop, because these video filters are going to make your skin look better. They're going to make the, you know, the environment look better. There's certain ones that kind of just like tone down the bright greens and things. We have a lot of bright greens here in Florida, so that's why I created that one. Just lots of different looks, so check it out. Or you can watch my video on creating amazing color in your travel vlogs. Okay, yeah, and now the final step, like I said, is to get rid of anything in the background that is less than ideal, even if it is branded. And the good news is it doesn't take much to just push things out of the way. What's that? Oh, that's the plant. You know, I'm gonna get a different plant. This guy used to live in here. I moved him outside because he was doing so well, and he's doing so well. Outside, he's been doing so well. So he lives there for the purpose of videos at least. Oh yeah, and there is one more thing I need to talk about, and I find it really lately to be the most annoying aspect of this entire business, and that is audio. So normally in these studio style shots, and I've talked about it a lot on this channel, I use a lav mic, it's the Rode lav mic, and I record my audio into the app and then I sync it later. But lately I've been having a lot of problems with that and I'm not sure I would recommend it anymore. If you're using that system and it works for you, then great. But I just don't want to use it moving forward. I really want to get a wireless lav mic with a receiver on the camera. So right now I put in my Rode Video Mic Go. I don't think it's really enough to kind of cut the echo that you're gonna have in a room like this, but I'm hoping it is. I used it for the intro and I'm using it now, but most of the video in between I didn't have it. But that's okay because this video is a little bit more casual. But stay tuned to the channel. I will talk more about my advances in audio gear. Audio is just one of those things that's just so annoying to deal with sometimes, but it's so important to make a good video. So it's something we gotta talk about. But even if I can't give you an amazing audio recommendation right now, I do hope you learned some things from this video. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you learned, what kind of things you're doing for your studio shot setups, or if you have any questions about this studio setup, definitely check out these lights. That's what I would recommend the most out of all of this, besides maybe the Canon M50. I'm actually about to film a video about the Canon M50. It's gonna be best settings for vlogging, so either stay tuned for that or maybe I published it last week. You know what, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you hit that notification bell so you can get notified of all the videos here on AMaeTV. Leave me a comment and let me know what other sort of stuff you'd like to see here on the channel. And if you want to go in further depth discussing travel video production, go ahead and join the Facebook group Travel Film Friends. It's becoming quite a little fun community where we all talk about our filmmaking issues and plans and gear that we're using, and we can ask each other questions. You can talk directly with me about things. It's just a really great community for travel filmmakers, so I hope to see you guys over there. I'm Alicia and I will see you all next time. Bye!